Hey guys, MasakoX here, and welcome to this another tier list. And this time I have learnt from the mistakes I did in the last one, because people weren't too sure that I should really be kind of putting certain things in between tiers. So for this one, I'm going to have to give a good, honest, solid, definite rating for each of these sagas. Let's kick off with the first one. You might think that, oh, this is going to be a nice little barometer to kind of see how Dragon Ball goes. Like, it's a good benchmark. But you know what? No. I actually think this is a D tier saga because it didn't really do well in Japan when it first came out. Yeah, sure, you got introduced to the characters like Oolong, Bulma, Goku, and all that stuff, but Goku wasn't particularly as endearing as he is later on, and Dragon Ball wasn't really Dragon Ball. It was a mystical adventure, sure, but, you know, there are loads of stuff online and Toriyama interviews saying that, yeah, this could have been done as soon as it was begun had Toriyama not stepped up with the next saga that we're going to be talking about. And that is, of course, the Tournament Saga. Now this one has to be a straight up A tier saga because this set the groundwork for what Dragon Ball would become in terms of it's all about fighting people who are stronger than you. You get Krillin, so you get the adventure of Goku and Krillin working together, and then you get some really cool tournament fights because Toriyama learnt and managed to increase Dragon Ball's reputation to the point where it was pretty much solid. So the next one is the Red Ribbon Army Saga. Now I'm going to include the General Blue, Commander Red, all that ones, like the sub-tier ones, in one thing. And I think that this one is a solid B tier. It's a solid B tier here because, again, it raised the stakes again with having a potential menace that was, you know, kind of questioning the integrity of the world. And this was the first mystery that Goku managed to face where he could actually use Nimbus. But at the same time, you kind of had the feeling that Goku would eventually defeat the bad guys here. You kind of had that vibe. But nonetheless, it was cool to see all of these new characters with very interesting stories. And of course, the comedy is top notch as well. So it is a solid B tier. It's a pretty good saga. It's pretty good. But the next one, Fortune Teller Barber, it's a C tier. It's not particularly memorable, save for the fact that Goku managed to see Grandpa Gohan, so that one, it's pretty cute and endearing, and it really reminds me of what they tried to do with Roshi in the Tournament Power Arc. You know, it's okay. It's not as memorable as I think it could be. Now, okay, now this is when things start to really go up. So now I'm going to list these two. So it's the King Piccolo Saga and the Tenshinhan Saga. These ones are definite A tiers. In fact, no, actually, King Piccolo goes S because just simply for the fact that this King Piccolo Saga, it cemented what Dragon Ball would be. You know, all the ki blasts, the attacks, really fast-paced action, it pretty much gave us what we would expect in Z. This was like Toriyama discovering what Dragon Ball Z would eventually become. He was testing the waters with the King Piccolo thing, an ultimate big bad with smaller minions having to kind of test the waters with the main cast, as well as having a transformation in there. Yeah, granted, it's going from old to young, but it's still a transformation. That still counts. Now, as for the Tenshinhan Saga, this, again, was little bit of foreshadowing here, but it was still pretty dark. It was intense. It was more of the same as the Tournament Saga, and that went down well. It was giving us more of that kind of action that we would expect. Now, the roundup here, I did include this as well. Now, this... now that's going to have to be S tier as well. Because quite frankly, this set up the rivalry for Piccolo Jr. and Goku. It was relatively short in comparison to the other two sagas, but it definitely had that intensity that we needed. And I know I say intensity a lot because Dragon Ball really upped the ante when it came to that. Yeah, it all ended with Goku then doing what he usually does, try and give Piccolo a chance to say that he's sorry. Unexpected, but also refreshing. And then, of course, you get Goku having a happy ending, everyone's hunky-dory, and yeah, it feels like, yeah, they do deserve it. But this is a definite S tier. What a way to round off the original Dragon Ball. Now, we get to the Raditz Saga here. That's a definite A tier, and I'm not saying that because our boy Raditz is in here. It's because it's still really high up, and that Goku is off within the first 5 episodes. Despite having the fact that you would have seen him like a few weeks before, turning out really okay and having a good life, and then suddenly, oh, okay, he's gone. Whoa. Okay. These same people are not to be messed with. That's an S tier as well. That's an S tier as Piccolo Jr. because the Vegeta saga, it gave Goku and Vegeta. That is one of the most iconic rivalries going out there in the world of popular culture. This was the benchmark for actually then going off in space. Raditz was the starter, Vegeta and Nappa were the main course. Well, okay, maybe Nappa was the side dish in comparison. And I know that this is going to be pretty much a skew to the top because, honestly, early Dragon Ball I loved because it was charming and it had a lot of action going later on, but it was also really comedic. And then Dragon Ball Z, the early stuff, it really gave us like the drive to go forward. It was proving to be something different. It was making a statement. I like that a lot. Now, this definitely goes because, you know, we were talking about going to space. Yeah, Namek Saga, this early part, this did drag on a little bit. It's still B tier. It's still really good. And I'm throwing in the Captain Ginyu saga in here, as well as kind of a couple of other little mini ones. No fake Namek, because as we know, that does not exist. But yeah, the Namek saga did drag on a little bit, and my feelings towards this didn't help back in the day because we kept repeating ourselves. But now that I've gone back to look at it, you know, of course with BBZA as well, it feels solid. It feels like it was setting the tone for the next saga, which would be the Frieza saga. Which, I mean, come on, this is again S tier because S tier, you get Super Saiyan, you get Frieza going through all these different emotions. He'd never been challenged before, and then you get Goku coming in, proving to be the legendary Super Saiyan. We all thought it was going to be Vegeta. No. It was Goku. Garlic Jr. I'm sorry. That was a straight up E tier. Yeah, it's cool that Gohan gets to kind of lead the charge and try and rescue Piccolo, but other than that, you kind of just get a repeat of the Dead Zone movie, and the Dead Zone movie was already really good, as we talked about last time. So yeah, this was kind of going over itself, and I think there'll be a couple of other sagas that will be sharing the same description, and I think you know what I'm going to be talking about. But for now, I'm going to talk about the Trunks saga. This was relatively short, and oof, it's B or A. No, I'm going to have to stick it at B, because it wasn't really that long, and I know that's not a criticism for this, but the Trunks saga was really cool. You know what? I know I can't do that. I can't do that to Trunks. No. A. Because Trunks, come on, Future Trunks, yeah, one of the coolest characters going. No matter what you put him in, Future Trunks, guaranteed to be really popular. And you get this, you get the thing about the Android saga coming in, and Mecha Frieza, all that kind of stuff, and then you get Mecha Frieza cut to ribbons by Trunks, another Super Saiyan. It kind of opens the door for the next thing, kind of like what the Raditz saga did, that being another A-tier thing. It opened the door for us to come back to Earth, but we then get the androids. So, the Android saga, oof. That's, oof. Oh, I don't know. I think that's a B. That's a B, because it did go on for a long time, and I don't remember enjoying it the first time around. But 17 and 18 are the standouts of this, especially 16 as well now I think about it. And yeah, seeing Goku kind of fall down like that, despite being given all the warnings and advice, that was a bit of a bummer. But other than that, it was still a good thing for setting the tone. A lot of these sagas set the tone, because the Android saga, you think it was going to be the be-all and end-all of this little story and narrative with Trunks. No, you get that with the Cell saga, which is a straight-up S tier, because Cell, he is my favourite villain. I loved it. Every time I go back to the Cell saga, it's a tour de force. You get this feeling that Cell is meant to be the culmination of everything that has gone before. Everybody's DNA and techniques are used in one form, and our heroes have to fight against it. Ah yes, the Otherworld Tournament saga. That is a C tier, because it may be filler, but we got one of the best filler characters in Dragon Ball period, and that is Pikkon. Pikkon needs to be in more stuff. But then we get the Great Saiyaman saga. This one is a C. I don't particularly find positive memories with this one, because yeah, it's cool to see Gohan do stuff, And the Great Saiyaman thing, it has great comedy in it, and that's what makes it, like, you know, average. It's alright. And, no, okay, never mind. That's a B. That's a B, but it's pushing it. If I could just do it in between, it would be between B and C. But, okay, it just squeaks over B, because you get the comedy. And we haven't really seen that much comedy lately, so this was a nice change of pace. It's just a shame it was really short in comparison. And I'm going to lump the Otherworld, no, not the Otherworld, the Tournament Saga, because... yeah, Spopovich and Vidal. I have opinions about that. Then we get the Boo Saga, and this one for me, I am sorry, it's going to be a... no, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to be harsh with this. It's gonna be a D, because this was going against all of what Toriyama said about Dragon Ball Z. Do whatever you want, just as long as you keep making it, we're good with it. And Toriyama just kind of threw caution to the wind and just did his thing. And yeah, he came up with some pretty interesting stuff. Fusion, for one, being something that is truly iconic. Vegito, Gogeta, Gotenks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely good. And Boo. Boo, I remember loving it back in the day when I didn't really know as much about Dragon Ball, but now that I do and I go back to it, I don't know, it's a bit of a slog, I have to admit. So it goes into D. But if I could go in between, I would make it a D/C. Now, the Peaceful World Saga, I would have to say that's a C. Because it's really cute, Pan gets to be in it, but its integrity in the narrative right now is called into question. So if I rated it any higher, I feel like it would come back to bite me later on. So I think it's safe just to kind of put it in the C tier for now, because it's a little short, but it's cute. It's cute, pretty much. It's cute, yeah. Now, the Beerus Saga. Now, not for Beerus Saga and Resurrection F, I'm going to be looking at the TV versions, not the movie versions. We've already covered that. So the Beerus Saga, that is going to be... that's a C as well. That's a C as well. It was okay. The Battle of Gods one, that was way better. It was done way better, more succinctly, and there was a lot of fluff. And I'm not even holding episode 5 against it, because we all know about how that came to be. That was just the management getting in the way. But in terms of the actual content, it was cool to add some stuff, but it was only okay. It just felt a little long and unnecessary, and it set the tone for what was to come. With I Am Sorry, Resurrection F Saga, that's the first F. That is the first F. Resurrection F gets an F, and that's not only because I wanted that joke to work, it's because it genuinely deserves an F. Because Resurrection F, the movie, that was alright. It's not going to age well, and I get the feeling that this arc's not going to age well. It's going to age even worse. And I would never want to come back to this arc again. Now we get to Universe 6 Saga. Now this, I have to say that's a B. That's a B saga, because this saved Dragon Ball in a way, because we got to see Kaioken times 10. We got to see Hit being a really cool character. We got to see Universe 6, so another universe, finally, after being teased about it. And then we got Frieza instead. But then we get Kaba, we get Vegeta, which is okay in the subversion. And then we get, like, the likes of Champa, Beerus, that kind of cute little rivalry. And the fact that they actually kind of like each other in a way, they respect each other. And then, of course, the Omni King, having that sense of mystery at the same time. Yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely a good saga. I like that saga, and yeah, the visuals are getting better. They're learning, but they then take a big step back with an E-tier saga, that is the Copy Vegeta saga. This would be higher up if we were just talking about the dub version, because Brian Drummond does a great job as Copy Vegeta here. Definitely. But in terms of the content here, it's a little bit forced, and Gotenks just being pummeled. No, I'm sorry. I don't remember it well at all. It's slightly better than the Garlic Jr. saga? No, I don't remember it well. Now, Goku Black Arc. Now that is... Now, okay, it's an A tier with an asterisk. I'm including the Goku Black Arc here if you do not count episode 67. If you did count episode 67, it would be D tier, or at least a C. You know, C at best. But it's an A tier from episode 47 to 66. I know they were trying to make it seem quite bleak, and I appreciate them trying to be brave, but it didn't work. I'm sorry, it just didn't work. So, yeah. This has a very big conditional rating. A tier, sans episode 67. So, we now go on to the Universe Survival Arc, and after all the song and dance about it, and the fact it was extremely long, it's gonna be a B, because you can tell they were learning a lot of stuff. They improved it over time, we got to see some cool fighters, we got to see some good intense battles, and, you know, they were thinking about all the characters and their powers and their unique abilities in other universes. Yeah, granted, they got, like, whisked away when they were defeated and erased and stuff like that, but we all know they come back in the end. And, I know that Ribrian's a very divisive character, but it's Toriyama being subversive, and Toyotaro's helping. So, that's not all that bad. So it's a good arc. You can tell that Super, it needed the Universe Survival Arc to really make a statement that it could improve. And the ending, it may be a little rushed, but it's solid. And Goku and Frieza, that vision and visual of them working together to beat Jiren, that is going to be one of those iconic visuals that will last the test of time. So yeah, for its iconography, it gets a B. It definitely gets a B. Now, GT. I am going to give this one a C. D. I'm sorry. But this one, turning Goku back into a kid, I appreciate them trying to be ambitious here, but you can tell, and there are loads of interviews about this, that by episode 3, when they were making this, they didn't like the direction and they were trying to immediately backpedal. But I give it a D rather than an E because they tried to do something different. So I will give it... sorry, E. If I could, it'd be D and E, but no. Having that compared to the Boo Saga, no, I can't do that. I can't do that knowing what I know. It's close, but if I have to be rigid with my ratings, it has to go in E tier. But the Baby Saga, though, no, that gets a solid C. And Baby wasn't a bad thing. We got Super Saiyan 4 out of it, so that's pretty good. We got some good stuff that we remember from GT. And Baby wasn't a bad villain. And, yeah, seeing Vegeta Baby, yeah, that was cool. And we no longer saw the moustache. So, that's not a bad thing. Now, the penultimate one, Super 17, no, sorry, F. Super 17, that whole thing, that did not make sense. It was really short, there was no real sign of peril, except for the fact that Android 18 managed to get to do some stuff. That was its saving grace, and Krillin, poor Krillin, just, no, I'm sorry. It just didn't work for me. I don't want to go back to that arc ever again. I just don't have good memories for it. Now, finally, the Shadow Dragons. Now, this one gets an E also. And I think this follows the same thing about the original Black Star Saga. Because, great idea, not good execution at all. The majority of the dragons didn't matter. Only Omega Shenron and Ice and Unova Shenron. No, you're not Unova. This isn't Pokemon. Nova Shenron. Those three were the only ones that really mattered. Except the main one who's like, yo guys, you're using them too much. I'm gonna make these dragons to punish you. Peace. Yeah. So this is probably my layout for my saga. Let me know what you think. Go to the subreddit if you want to share your own tier list of the sagas. And this has been really good. And I felt like you guys really wanted it, so I'm glad that I could present it to you. But let me know if you agree with this or not down in the comments. So, till next time, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. Till next time, or next tier list, whatever comes first. Catch you later.